A baby brings new life to the house, a new energy to the house. When a child is born, it changes the dynamic of the home itself. You start adjusting for that new life. The hours you sleep. It's an opportunity to share the experiences that you have gathered since you've been on the planet. Someone to put yourself into. And you want to put the best parts of you into that person. So that means you have to look at your worst part and, protect the baby from that part. But I say that to say this. When we were coming into the mosque, it was a handful of us brothers, and we were very excited about our Islam. And we were charged, we were running, we were ready to go. We wanted everything that the teachers had to offer. We opened the mosque, we closed the mosque. We were in the street as long as we could be in the street. But Islam to us at that time, it wasn't just about the building. It was a community. We knew all the Muslims in that community. We knew the brother at the store who was Muslim. We knew the sister at the bakery who was Muslim. We knew the janitor at the school. We knew the brothers at the barbershop. I could remember black police officers pulling over, getting their final call bean pies, and sending me back to the mosque with their charity and saying, put it under brother such and such. Yes, sir. But there's this one brother in particular, one of our elders. We call him Deuce. His brother Abdus. And this is a brother who we love because he took us in and he protected us from anything that was coming our way. Anything that he saw that was missing in our Islam, he made sure he added on to that. And when I came into the Nation of Islam, it was a troubling time for me because my father had just returned to Allah. So I was looking for that guidance, that male guidance, that not another father, but a good uncle. So I want to introduce you all to my uncle, our uncle, Brother Abdus. Assalamu alaikum.
But once you get a principle that will change your focus and give you a new vision, then what comes out of your mouth will reflect the state of your mind.
I believe it was clear to say that my grandfather was adopted. So there's a cutoff. So the only way that you can know anything about your grandparents or whatever, somebody was they were documenting everything when you were coming up as a child. But from what I understood, none of that was going on. The only thing they said is go outside and play. You couldn't sit amongst the elders and listen to the conversations that they were having. And they wasn't kind. They always talked rough to you. The women be kind, but the men will talk rough to you. And some of the people, especially if they're drinking, they may talk very rough to you. And it's not them, it's the sickness. So you don't understand that until you get older, that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Like Minister Farrakhan said, we're an iniquitous people. Like somebody might say, I want you to take care of my child. I'm going to work, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Well, you leave that particular person in the hands of somebody that you think they are right. But the other part of that is that they may not be all right. Now you stand the chance of putting your your family member in harm's way of someone else. By the time I got into school, elementary school, I didn't like that. Because now I'm being separated from my grandmother, and my grandmother was my only security blanket. And some of the things I did were not nice. Like when she caught me cursing, I was at the window, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm just cussing up a storm. What did you say? Huh? I ain't say nothing. Get out that window. Close that window. Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, when I was small, they could hear me coming from miles around. I would be coming down the street, and I'd be running, and I'd be singing Mule Train. Frankie Lane was a Jewish boy. He'd say, Mule train, clippity clapping over hill and rain. Cowboys will never stop, never stop, never stop alone. Get along, get up there, yeah, bang, 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 all that, right? And that started my training of my voice, not under an instructor, but that's what I did. I think for a lot of our people, if they didn't have some form of religion, they would have been wiped out totally. That was the only thing that we had. So we went to church. You know, it might have not been the church that you would go to, especially when you see those cigar smoking, fat belly preachers, homosexuals, and all that kind of stuff going on. But it was more on the adults to secure a pure environment for me to grow up in without being tainted by a lot of stuff. Praise be to Allah. With all the stuff that happened coming up as a little person, I didn't bug out. I still kept my form, you know. Right now we're talking about my beginnings as a child. But to jump ahead, children today suffer because of the lack of adults playing a role of securing the child inwardly and outwardly. You can't just tell a child, go out and play. You have to monitor what the child is playing, what the child is doing, this and that. You know, and if you don't do those kind of things, then more than likely the child going to get caught up in some other crap. Charles McCoy, who was 3 years older than me, you heard me say Charles McCoy. That's the way we talk. We knew the first and last name. That was part of the whole thing of knowing who the person is. I'm on the 3rd floor, and Charles McCoy, he came. Now when Charles McCoy came, his mother, as far as I know, sometime they talked about him as being adopted. Her name was Miss Lucy. I can't remember his father's name. His father used to taste a lot and cry. I don't know what that was. A lot of men used to drink and cry. Maybe it was the embarrassment. Then eventually he died. But there was a lot of problems with Charles. You know, same birthday, 3 years apart. You know, he's a Gemini, I'm a Gemini. And we fought, and we fought, and we fought. Yeah. Shoot, he liked to fight. I didn't want to fight. But he was my difference. And we had to get it on. And I still don't understand why was it that I was chosen to be the plaything with all these other guys. But these guys, they chose me to be they dokey. You know, the one that you slap around, you beat up and all that kind of stuff, right? And I was fighting with all I had, you know what I mean? I had a lot of little simple children challenges with the boys around the corner or the boys over this way, this, that. But that's right in the circle. And my uncle, he wasn't home because he was getting into different scrapes with the law. Praise be to Allah, he never got shot. He'd been beat up a few times, but he could fight. But you can't fight too good when you're drunk. So I had to help my uncle out. Now I'm like 8. But even when I was younger, I used to watch out for him when he's coming home, and look down the street one way, look up the street another way, and he'd be coming, and he's going from side to side, you know, all drunk up and everything. And it might be some people that he might have been with, he may not have been with, but now he's a Vic. I gotta come out there and help my uncle. He's short, I'm short, I just came here. And so I'm gonna fight with my uncle. And I'm fighting grown men. And it was crazy like that, you know. Then we had a barber shop on 13th Street on the corner. Then we had a pool hall across the street called Cat Eyes. And then we had a bar called the Heat Wave. Then there was another bar down at the other corner called the Cotton Bowl. You know, all black. Yeah, if there were any white folks in the neighborhood, I didn't know them, right? One guy, his name was Angelo, Mr. Angelo. Mr. Angelo used to make cigars in his basement, and he had a window that you could look in and watch him pull the leaves and put the tobacco in there, and then he'd roll like he's over in Cuba somewhere. He rolled, and he got a knife, and he cut the ends, and then he twist the other end like that, and he cut that there part of the tobacco off, and he would sell cigars, Cuban cigars. During that time, it was just so much community. That don't mean that it was all good. Remember, you're in an environment that is actually hostile to you as a child. As I'm telling these things, they're very significant because they build character. And there was always some character building going on. But the barbershop is the place where I would frequent because I had a pompadour, which is gone. But my hair used to sit up high like that, and it'd come forward like this, and then it would be like a Pee Wee Herman but flat top, and it'd go back like that, and it was kind of dark on the side, but close. That was my hairstyle. You know what I mean? It was like, this is cool. And the guy that used to cut it, I don't even know his name. The light-skinned guy, I think he was the second chair. But he was one of those men in the neighborhood, but he'd rub up against the children. And he would get an erection. And that's the kind of stuff you had to deal with. But the parents didn't know. He probably wouldn't have been there. The parents. You know, you got to understand that sickness in our community is a sickness in every community. We more so because we were deprived of the love. We was deprived of having a home, was deprived of education, a whole lot of stuff. Now this guy, this is what he would do. Okay, who's getting a haircut? Boys. But little girls were coming there too. Right? So now, I'm witnessing things that is not cool. But who I'm gonna talk to? I don't have no brothers and sisters to talk to. I don't have no friends to tell you. You ain't gonna tell your friends. So you ain't gonna tell nobody. And that goes on while I'm going there. But I went to Master Street, Nelson's barbershop. And I went to get a haircut. Sit down. I know how to cut your hair. He cut my hair off. Yeah, my eyes bucked, my mouth dropped, and I was messed up forever. Cut my hair. So now I'm not going to school. I ain't going to school. Because now that means I got to fight all the whole time until the hair grow back. So I wound up going back to school after hooking for a little while. And it was this kid that came into the classroom. He had just came home from a reformatory. His name was Frank Flippin. Frank Flippin went for bad. So he took some paper off of my desk, that was my paper, and he thought he was gonna get away with that. No, he's not. I'm gonna take him right all over the paper. I'm gonna see you after school. That's what he told me. Now I'm paranoid. He threatened me. I ain't going outside. I'm gonna wait till everybody leaves. Then I'm gonna go outside. And no sooner I get outside, here they come. I think it was called Kabat Street. I can't remember. Tyrone and all them guys from that. Now these are guys that live right around the corner from me. If anything, I'm supposed to be all right with them. But all them guys are supporting Frank Flippin. Where Frank Flippin came from, I don't know. But they want to see him fight me. I don't want to fight. I'm trying to get home. Hit him, Frank. Hit him, Frank. You know, they coasting him on. So Frank, he said, yeah, fight him correction style. This is correction style. I don't know about that. So now we got to get it in. So all we doing is swinging and missing. Swinging and missing. And the teacher came. Y'all break that up. You see, I run up 13th Street, run to the house, get in the house. I wasn't thinking about going back to school. But I wound up going back to school. And nothing really happened after that. And then a guy that pretty much everybody knew, his name was Blocker. Blocker, he was an old head in the terms of, how old was he? I don't know, maybe 20. But anyway, it was a guy from a gang called the Exiles. Blocker was from the Pandoras, which was the gang that was on Master Street. The Pandoras, the Exiles was from Cross Town, which was west of where we live. And there was an incident that took place on that side, and Blocker, he got the booty, he got the girl. And somehow or another, the Exiles rode down on 13th Street. And that was the first drive-by that we experienced, and it shot Blocker in the head. And it was like the shot that went over Philadelphia. And everybody was bent up out of shape about that. And it went on for a period of time. And he was a cool guy, you know. But the guy that did it, they got him and they locked him up. And I don't know how many years he did. He did a whole lot of years. And that was the other major part of that. And I'm gonna run it up a little bit because it seemed like after that incident, it was a little stepping away from the neighborhood, kinda finding my association. So I was associating with the guys from Oxford Street, which was a block up from me. And I didn't really care for that situation because we used to go around looking for trouble as opposed to dealing with trouble when it came to us. So I wanted to back out. I backed out, myself and a friend of mine. And I started hanging down on Girard Avenue with the Wagstaff brothers. It was a whole bunch of them, families. In most cases, a gang constituted maybe 5 or 6 added with 3 or 4, added with 5 other brothers and whatnot, you know. And then you formulate your gang like that. It was a family/social group. And in that, I think as young people, we all trying to find self-esteem. Some people needed a gang for support. Maybe they didn't have no brothers and sisters, or maybe had brothers and sisters, but they wanted to hang out with the gang because the gang was more interesting. I started at the Chesterfield Hotel in a barber shop, doing hair. I processed hair. James Brown, all them kind of people here. Nat King Cole, all them kind of people. 3Ks, lye and potatoes. That's what they called it. Posners, Jabers. Then they start getting all these here fancy names. And when I got into the shop, we was getting like $15, $20, depending on how you getting it. If you're getting curls and stuff all of me, it could come as much as $30. Most of the guys that was coming in there were guys who were construction workers and they had a do-rag in their back pocket, you know what I mean? And that was a very interesting piece, you know. And I wound up leaving Philadelphia. I had a fairly nice voice, and I used to sing a lot. Deo, deo, daylight come and they wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me bananas. Daylight come and we wanna go home. And it was those kind of songs, right? And I just like to sing. My old man, he liked to hear me sing. So when I got a little older, I went down Atlantic City one time, and then I went back down there again. The next thing you know, I'm living in Atlantic City. Then I meet this woman. Her name was Merle. That was my first serious involvement dealing with a woman. She had 2 children. And I was after her. her. I was in love. See, but when you're a young person and you think you're in love for all the wrong reasons. You don't know about taking care of nobody. And we had a singing group, and next thing you know, if I didn't get out of Atlantic City, I was gonna be in jail because we started breaking in stores and stuff like that, doing the wrong stuff, right? So I went in the military, the Army. I went overseas to Korea. And I was singing with a group in Korea. The camaraderie, the esprit de corps, the love that you have for your brotherhood was the greatest expression of concern that I could imagine outside of the Nation of Islam. Korea had its challenges. North Korea, around Panmunjom, that area, they had certain areas where the North Koreans would shoot at soldiers. I don't know whether they were trying to hit you or not, but you could hear pew, 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 pew. And then you start getting out the way. We got out the military. We came home. After all has failed, then comes Islam. So I was a person that I still enjoyed the nation until I got out the military, until I came back home. And I met a guy, Big J. We started hanging out and this and that, I want to take you somewhere. Okay, let's go ahead and hang out. So we go down to 4110 Hartford Avenue. And no sooner went in, got searched and everything, went upstairs, second floor. Ali Salahuddin, his name was Philip back during that time, but he went to see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him Ali Salahuddin. This would be 73. And this is where Minister Jeremiah Shabazz was the minister of number 12 in the Delaware Valley. And then I had to write my form letter. I wrote my form letter, sent it to Chicago, it came back accepted, and I was Jerome 14X. I was the 14th Jerome in the city of Philadelphia. So I fell in love with the Nation of Islam and didn't know much of anything. It seemed like the more you know you don't know. So one brother named Harun, he heard that I needed some money for my rent, but I ain't asked nobody. So his response to that was, why would you stop a brother from getting a blessing? Huh? Well, you got a situation and you didn't want nobody to know. You stopping other people from getting blessings. That's the same way when you know that a brother's new and he needs support, he needs help, you're supposed to support him and you're supposed to help him and try to keep him from the bull crap. Was the bull crap going on in the nation? No, they most certainly was. We came from corners. What was our mind like coming from the corner? Messed up. So, I came in the Nation of Islam. And we would have a joint meeting on Broad and Susquehanna. And we'd be upstairs on the second floor. And we might be maybe 500 strong. And we drilling. Red mark. And we just knew we was stomping the devil in the ground. Boy, you know what I mean? It's a wonder they didn't put us out early. But that kind of camaraderie is what's still needed. I don't care what nobody say. To see the men of God shoulder to shoulder, not talking men of God, but action men of God. You're talking about a bunch of people who look like you, talk like you, function like you, you know, even though everybody didn't walk around with a bald head. But we had the same idea in our minds of being God. Like unto the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's coming from Master W. Farad Muhammad, because the weighty message that he gave to Elijah, Elijah gave to us. And it all revolved around being like Allah. He made us in his image and in his likeness. Well, I didn't know that. When I seen Muslims, I went up on the second floor and it scared me because they were strange. Islam is strange. After all has failed, then comes Islam. I like calling the Adhan because of its cleansing. And if you really call it, and you block all the you out,
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar,
and then you come in the presence of God,
Allahu Akbar,
you'd be like a Niagara Falls.
Allahu Akbar.
Water just comes.
Ashhadu la
Because
ilaha
you understand
illallah.
that you're calling on your Lord.
Ashhadu la
And the only thing I can say about that is that by his permission,
Ashhadu Muhammadan
I'm allowed to be a servant.
Ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Beautiful.
And you brought the rain.
Alhamdulillah.
Not making this up. He brought the rain. Now y'all witness, it was no rain.
You in trouble, Elmo.
My wife gonna love that. And it stopped. You see that? And it stopped.